look by the center, I also played outside center. Actually, in primary school, I played outside center. That was really fun. But then, back then, no one, at least I, didn't know what I was doing. I was just tackling people and like running and cleaning.
I played outside center once in an exercise.
Yeah.
Just like practice run, I was playing outside center because I was playing props my entire rugby career. I played prop.
You played props.
I weighed 65 in the 10th grade, and I was scrumming against guys who weighed 120. And so as a result, I can do most things I can't do.
I'm sure.
But it was fun. And I think when I started to lift, like after when I started lifting, when I was kind of when I left the school that I was in, I think it was interesting for me because I had to train just my upper body for a while just so I could catch up with my legs, just because they were so like strong and big at the time. Just because that was the only exercise I was getting was playing rugby and scrumming and dying and stuff. It was hectic.
Oh wow.
Sure. That's lekker. So, jiu-jitsu, we were talking about the belts and how you get a certain stripes with all the white belts. How long, on average, does it take for someone to get to a black belt level in jiu-jitsu? It has to be quite long.
I'm not sure because I haven't been there.
Yeah.
In kickboxing, it's about average 5 years. Jiu-jitsu, I assume if I need to guesstimate, probably 15 years.
So I would have guessed about 8 to 10, but yeah.
Yeah, because to get to a blue belt, it's about 3-4 years. 3 to 4. So it depends on. I've been training now 3 years, and I'm on third stripe. So it's obviously for us it's a recreational kind of thing. So I can only be going through from US McFlug, the northern suburbs, towards Fishhoek or now to Kai every Friday afternoon to train for about 2.5 hours. Just merely because we like our instructor there and we train there. But I mean, if you train, I assume if you train 2 to 3, 4 times a week, obviously you can improve a lot faster.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would guess about 3 to 4 years to blue belt, which is probably the most difficult part because that is, like you mentioned previously, is techniques in jiu-jitsu is so difficult. I mean, and to get used to. I mean, I came from a kickboxing background to do jiu-jitsu, so you've got the mindset of almost want to fight, and it's total opposite.
It's not like
you need
that,
almost like a flow of movement and a flow of rolling. I struggled very long to actually get to a rhythm of actually do a flow roll in jiu-jitsu and not trying to fight somebody.
Yeah. But I think as well with jiu-jitsu, just sticking in there for the first 3 or 4 years until you get your first color belt. I think a lot of people drop out there as well because you feel you're a white belt for 3 years. That's like, what am I doing?
Yeah. I've got these 3 tendencies in martial arts. Doesn't matter what martial arts, and jiu-jitsu is even worse. Like you mentioned, because you take about 3 to 4 years to actually get an actual color in your belt. Yeah. But there's generally a white belt, blue belt, and black belt in things. So white belt is, and that's something I think every entrepreneur also need to have from the get-go, and always, even if you're successful, keep having a white belt mentality. Yeah. Because the white belt always want to learn. He's there and he's excited. It's a new thing. You want to learn everything.
Always cautious and watching the other guy, making sure that this blue belt isn't killing you.
Exactly.
And if you go into it with the confidence of, even if you do have a black belt, going into a fight with the confidence of like, I'm a black belt, I'm going to kill you. It's never working out for you. It might. I mean, I'm not going to say it's never going to work out, but it's not the right mindset to approach any kind of
dangerous.
Yeah, for sure.
Because the other guy might be, black belt as well. Yeah. And
every dark age is there as well. Exactly, so you can never be cautious. Yeah. So even if you're black belt, always try to think like a white belt in the sense of always keep on learning. And again, same with entrepreneurs. If you stop learning, you will start losing. Yeah. Because you will be kept behind. This year was a very good example again. Once again, COVID-19 was your year that you could grow your personally and business-wise phenomenally if you wanted to. So the guys that didn't do it, they stayed behind a lot. And the guys actually took the opportunity and grew from there. We have 2 businesses that we started, but the one we started, the other one we just plugged in some few new things into it, and both of them grew about 300% in this time, in this year.
That's crazy.
So
that's just because you were willing to stick out and wait for that blue belt, you know. You're not waiting for COVID to end and getting frustrated with it, or just being like,
So exactly.
Putting in the work and then approaching it with that, like you said, that not white belt mentality, but with the same sort of
eagerness and willingness to learn So I think the blue belt is the most dangerous section. That's where most entrepreneurs also fall out in that section of it, because you pass that exciting new start of a new business. You don't really want to grow anymore because you feel you know everything now and you can just run your business.
And you just want to fight the blue belts and show them that you're better.
Yeah, exactly. You want to be the blue belt and you want to bugger up the white belt.
Exactly.
You don't want to start teaching, because at the blue belt stage in martial arts, you get responsibility. It becomes hard work. You need to have discipline and consistency of growing yourself towards a black belt. So you need to start giving back to white belts. So everything, the whole dynamic from a white belt changes towards a blue belt. And if you look at entrepreneurs, they're very excited in the beginning of any business. Yeah. And 80%, 95% fall out with the project. They start the project, and then they fall out because the excitement is gone.
Exactly.
Now there's some responsibilities that they need to attend. They need to grow a team, and they just can't get to that, and they rather leave it. And then the next phase, obviously, is getting to a black belt, which is great and all glamorous, but that's just the beginning of the process. Yeah. So now you're a leader, and you need to start giving back. But the job of a leader is to grow more leaders and to give back.
People also tend to have this mindset of, if I can only get an idea, I'll be good. You know, if I can get an idea of a business, so if I get my blue belt, I'll be fine. You just kind of rest. You know, and it doesn't work like that. You can have the best business idea, but if you're not willing to still put in the work that you did at the beginning, it's not going to grow and it's not going to drive. And you do kind of need to. Lost my train of thought.
I was looking for the punchline.
I was very excited for it myself, and then I just kind of.
But if you look at a lot of businesses that got to black belt, places like, just think BlackBerry is a very good example. They got to black belt. They didn't want to listen to anybody else that advises them of, you need to develop it, you need to do this, you need to do that. They thought, they're on top of it.
BBM's gonna last forever.
Exactly. They got the black belt and they just
mix it as well.
And mix it as well. And then all of a sudden everything is gone. So it's a very dangerous place to be a black belt in entrepreneur, in entrepreneurship, in anything. But so because then, first of all, you have the responsibility of being a leader. You need to start showing leadership. You need to build other leaders in your business. To obviously having a dream team around you concept of building a team and let them take over.
Exactly. You need people who can drive it like like you would drive it.
Yeah, you know, exactly. So, and no, I lost my thought. You said the tendencia.
I've heard a lot of entrepreneurs and just successful people in general state that starting martial arts, specifically jiu-jitsu, but honestly just any martial art, like a self-defense type thing, starting something like that teaches you certain things like humility and just being like, it's okay to be put on your ass every now and again, you know. And it kind of, according to a lot of these people, translates to other things in your life, like your business, your relationships with all sorts of people in your life. And I was just wondering, do you agree with that? Do you think it does actually add to your life in that way, or in any way like that maybe?
I think we just need to be careful about martial arts in general, because there's came stuff like MMA that came into the picture. And I think, I mean, one of my best friends is doing EFC, is one of the top contenders there. And I'm not saying that's bad, but like him as well, he came from the traditional background. So I agree with you regarding traditional martial arts.
Okay.
Because there's discipline. You may not fix your belt in front of the instructor. You need to go off the mat, turn your back, do that. You need to bow out of respect, not of a religious kind of thing. But it's all respect driven. I mean, you need to.
But the basis of it all isn't attack. You know, like MMA is you get into the ring to fight someone.
Yeah,
you
to
go in
knock
there
out.
to knock someone out, or to choke them out, or to have them tap out or something. But with traditional martial arts, it is more about shaping the way that you think and the way that you live, and you know, finding
it's a discipline.
Yeah.
Finding discipline is consistency. I mean, any trends that you look at, entrepreneurship as well, you need to have respect.
Yeah.
You need to have discipline. You need to have consistency in growing yourself and seeing it as a process, not an event. That you need to go through this whole white belt to black belt process and then still develop yourself and take the responsibility of that. And entrepreneurship is exactly the same. I mean, all the trends are, and that's probably why anybody else would tell you the same, that they can link it. And I just got that like 2-3 months ago. I got this whole idea of everything, white belt, blue belt, black belt, everything link to entrepreneurship.
Yeah.
Because I've been an instructor, so I can see white belt start as a whole class, then you get to blue belt and it's a lot less in the class, and when you get to a black belt, probably every 20 students potentially can become a black belt or will become a black belt.
Yeah.
Because, and in entrepreneurship, exactly the same. I mean, we all do things in entrepreneurship kind of ways. Not everything wins.
Yeah.
Not everything goes according to plan. A lot of them are failures, which is a great thing. I love failures because it teaches you a lot more than winning. So, and again, like I've been in martial arts. I had 10. One of my bucket lists was to have 10 K1 fights.
Yeah.
So I had 10 K1 fights, and I had luckily 7 wins and 3 losses.
Nice.
But the losses keeps you on the ground and keep you level-headed and remind you that you actually need to train.
But the thing is also, when someone lands a right hook in your face, you know you need to cover your left side better and stuff like that. So that kind of links in with what you said.
What's a K1 fight? Is it?
It's like full contact kickboxing, Muay Thai.
Okay.
But it's a full contact kind of sport where you obviously try to knock somebody out. So it's 3 rounds.
By intense form.
It's like a boxing, it's just kickboxing.
Yeah. Okay.
And then
kickboxing usually the majority of tournaments is very like point fighting. So if you land a shot, it's like karate. You know, like you get points for that. But K1 is like you're actually fighting someone.
So you need to like.
I came from the sport karate side, that the points and everything. And then kickboxing kickboxing is really the word, the sport, and then you get K1, Muay Thai, all those kind of from there. That was fun. It was interesting doing a lot of seeing how you can lose weight in in a week, doing weight cuts, losing like 7 Ks in a week. You that also like Mr. Abs here. That's a different kind of. You obviously lose a lot of water and eat broccoli and tuna the whole week and
get down to 4% body fat and all that.
Be very angry.
But you need that. You need that kind of like.
It's a good push, and it's a good discipline in the sense of. Just to get to the point of weighing is hard.
It also puts a lot of pressure on that moment for you to actually perform. And we spoke about this about the deep end and all that. Sometimes you need that little bit of. You need to carry the burden on your back to make sure you keep your feet on the ground. You know?
I think it's important for us to set a goal of each week to do something out of your comfort zone, because that's the only time when we grow. I do morning cold showers every single morning, and now I do
4 o'clock as well.
6 o'clock. Much better
after training.
After training. So but I think that's apart from there's a lot of health benefits for doing that. But I think, the reason for me doing that is for me to remind myself to run into my fear every single day.
Yeah.
If I can conquer a cold shower, I can conquer a lot of other things in my life every day.
One thing I have been doing is the last 5 seconds of my shower, I would close the warm tap. And I used to do it just for my face because it closes up your sweat pores or whatever.
It's a lie, but
Oh really?
Yeah, you pause then open and close.
My basics and boycott. it is.
Yeah.
Made the miss the cold shower.
Hey?
At least you did a cold shower.
Yeah. It's good for the testosterone and things, I think. I think it's a lot of other health
I've
benefits.
been doing it, but I would start off with a really nice, hot, steamy shower. And just for 5 seconds.
You still want that little bit of comfort.
So
You want to spa a little bit before you get into the fight, you know.
I have done
Like
cold
a warm-up.
showers, voluntarily in the summertime when it's like, oh, it's so hot. I can't imagine being under hot water right now. But maybe I should give that a try for like a week and see how it is.
I haven't been sick in almost 2 years.
Yo,
I think it's two things. It's start living my purpose, but also there's a lot of health benefits. One of them is actually for men to prevent heart attacks.
Okay.
There's little muscles around your veins, around your heart, in your heart, that actually get stronger when you actually do a cold shower.
Okay.
So it's immune system.
Does it boost your testosterone? Because I've heard that, but
I've
I'm
got
not
no
quite
idea.
sure.
I'm too old to recommend that.
I've heard that it promotes fat loss.
Yeah.
It helps with
Yeah,
that. I don't know if
and
it does.
better
but
sleep as well.
Yeah.
Better sleep.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So,
I think it's just a shock to your system.
Yeah.
Like most
Yeah,
things.
it's like-
if you-
but
Yeah.
I think all of that is great. But I think the base is to actually it's a subconscious. To train your subconscious to run into fear.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
every time you run into fear,
That's
fear will
what I
run
would
away
consider doing
always.
it, yeah.
So
Especially in like a controlled environment like that, nothing bad's gonna happen
Yeah.
if you get into.
you
a
might
cold
die,
shower.
but that's alright.
It's scary still. It's still like
Yeah, it
where
is.
you're standing there and it's like, yo, I gotta get into this cold shower now, and I don't want to. But if you can, like you said, it's about just that step that you take. It's just like pushing yourself over that edge. And
Every now and again, when I get to a point where I can feel I'm like starting getting relaxed, and I haven't done any fearful kind of activities.
run into
for my
traffic or something.
Then I go to my bath and I do an ice cold
So you do
bath.
the ice bath as well?
Yeah, merely
Just cold water, or do you do ice as well?
I do ice as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sure. Where do you get the ice?
Yeah, well, obviously I don't freeze it. so- but what I use is that those little ice things that you use for the
Just the ice cubes. the
ice cube,
trays.
but yeah, trays kind of thing, things that you just freeze and you can obviously reuse it. So it's not something that's
So it's not like
water
you're
that
filling
goes
the
away.
bottom just with ice, or
Yeah.
it's just like a little
Cold
bit.
water, and then you just put in the ice stuff. But it's cold enough, and it's just. I mean, for me, it's some athletes obviously do it for recovery.
Yeah.
So it's great for me. I mean, if I train hard, it's great for that as well.
Yeah.
But I really do it for me. It's all about. I don't even care about the health benefit. If it does, it's great. Mr. Wim Hof, I don't know if you know him, but Wim Hof, the Iceman.
Yeah.
That set about 20 records in walking with his shorts up. What's that high mountain? Mount Everest, and all those kind of
Did he
things.
really
It was
do
the
that?
longest. Yeah.
Did he summit it?
Yeah, that's right.
Hectic.
And you actually
That's
take groups there as well. Yeah, you must go YouTube Wim Hof. It's pretty cool. But he will tell you about everything in detail. For me, it's really just
Yeah.
fear.
Yo, you know what's scary to me? It's
Comfort
the
zone.
people who jump into the ice lakes. They just make the hole in the ice and then
Yeah.
you go under it.
Yeah, he does that as well.
Because if you
It's-
come up and you just hit ice, dude, you're dead.
Yeah, it's gone. No,
It's
it's
hectic, dude. And I've seen some videos of people struggling with that, and that's got to be like the most scary thing.
No,
Yeah.
no, I don't want to die. I just want
Yeah.
to conquer my fear. I don't want to create more fear.
Just trying to get better.
Yeah, exactly.
So do you follow UFC?
I follow UFC. I
Okay.
follow EFC, and that's pretty much only thing I follow. I've got a
Okay.
follow about 5 things in my life, and that's I've got a separate Facebook account, private Facebook account, and only my wife is on there. And I follow UFC, EFC. I follow Robin Sharma. I follow Evan Carmichael, Gary Vee, and one or two other guys, and that's it.
So
Yeah.
who do you think is going to win this weekend? Do you know about the fight happening this
I
weekend?
think Costa's going to lose.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
I think it's all talk, and he's good. He's good.
Yeah.
But Adesanya is next level. I
Yeah.
mean, anybody can win on the day, but I truly believe Adesanya is going to win.
If I had to put my money on it, I'd say Adesanya is going to win. I'm a big fan of both of them. Costa is probably my favorite fighter in the UFC right now,
Yeah,
just
it's
because how like
amazing
ruthless he
fighter.
is.
Yeah.
Yeah. And come on, you obviously saw him against Yoel Romero. That's
Yeah.
insane. Because Yoel Romero is like one of those scary guys that'll put you down, but he did that to him, you know. which is crazy.
I think if Costa can actually take Adesanya and actually get him into corners
Yeah.
and really being a pit bull on him,
He's gonna hurt him.
then he can do it.
Yeah,
Definitely. But if he's going to give Adesanya space, which is very easy for Adesanya because he can move. I mean, he's very good with his feet.
He's a
He can
counter
move.
striker as well.
And a counter striker. I mean, I'm also a counter striker like that. So I like you to come in and I give you a back kick or something while you're trying to strike me. Sorry. But you need to give me space. If you start putting me into corners, then I dislike it.
Yeah.
So
I'm like that as well. If you got me on the ground, I don't know what to do.
Exactly.
Notes a little this in case they come.
Yeah, I brought Dolph today just because I know he's into martial arts, so just so I have a little bit of backup. But then he brought you as well. Now I don't know what to do, man. Now I have to be nice.
Yeah, but it's a big fight. They're both undefeated. There's been a lot of, I don't know if I want to call it disrespect, but just, I guess you could call it that, towards Israel Adesanya. He had like one shitty fight, the previous one. But before that, he was spectacular, and he's still undefeated in the UFC. He's got more than 80 kickboxing fights, and I think he's only lost 5 of them.
Yeah, there's actually one guy that actually knocked him out in kickboxing, Alex Pereira.
Yeah, I saw
Actually,
that.
it was like flat, cold, out
Yeah, he
cold.
was
Yeah.
whipping on the ground or
It's
whatever.
kind of fun to see every now and then, just one of those big, like, just like Conor. I mean, I'd love to see Conor just go to the ground just once.
Yeah.
Just because I love Conor. He's one of my favorite
Well,
fighters,
the
and he's a
Khabib
very
fight,
scary guy.
Yeah, he got
But-
dropped in the Khabib fight with this like overhand right.
Yeah,
And
but I want him to just fall to the ground and not get back up just once. Just because it's good to see people like Conor, because Conor is like Conor to me is like one of those people. Most people will never beat Conor in a fight. He's an incredible fighter. He's got incredibly strong like punches and stuff. But I just like to know that someone can knock him out, just so that I feel a little bit safer on this planet. You know.
I think Justin Gaethje might be able to.
Yeah.
Because they haven't fought yet, have they?
No,
Gaethje is a pretty good striker, but he's got chin as well. He'll keep coming, you know. Whereas a lot of other people get dazed once Conor hits them like once, and then Conor just kind of feeds off of that and
Yes.
overpowers them.
Yeah.
Whereas I feel Gaethje is one of the lightweights that can actually standing up, you know, fare quite well with him.
Yes.
But I also don't know.
Well, Khabib showed everybody how you fight Conor McGregor.
Yeah.
He just put him on the ground, and
I just feel weird about Khabib just because he's such a, you know, he's from Turkmenistan. Where's he from?
He's from Dagestan.
Dagestan, yeah. So he's like, I feel like he's a whole different breed
He is.
from what they used to fight bears and things. Like, I mean,
man,
that's.
Yeah.
It's
No,
a
it
different
is.
world there. Like,
Yeah.
those
Yeah.
guys are flipping hard. They're like.
I'd like to see a normal person beat Conor. Let me say that.
I must say, Adesanya and Conor McGregor, I'm not exactly sure their weight classes, but I think they can be matched.
Yeah.
I think they can get to each other.
I think.
And that would be an amazing fight because both are stand up and both are very not the standard kind of fighting stance that you have. I mean, they both are what do you call it?
But relatively like unique, you know.
Unique. Well, let's call it unique. Yeah, it's unorthodox.
I know, yeah.
That's the word I'm looking for. Both of them. So it would be interesting for them to, and they've got both nice flying kind of kicks. And all kinds. So it would be quite interesting.
I like
fight.
watching fights like that, especially. I don't like watching, especially if it's UFC. If it's like, you know, if you're watching a jiu-jitsu fight, you expect that to be on the ground. But if you're watching UFC, I like it when there's a lot of stand-up and they're doing kind of flying kicks and things. It's because it's just a lot more fun to watch that.
Yeah.
I think when you start getting into I used to be like that, and then obviously when I start training in jiu-jitsu and you start understanding it and you get appreciation for the guys that can actually fight on the ground.
Yeah,
Not, there's a lot of guys
technicality
that are trying to just smother people and lie on them, but if you actually seeing a proper jiu-jitsu fight or kickboxer against a jiu-jitsu guy is also interesting because whoever wins the fight to stay up there or get to the ground will most probably win.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's always also an interesting.
But it's
scenario.
also like with the first Khabib versus McGregor, the first one that they had.
There was only one.
There was only one, yeah.
I thought they had 2 fights.
The
Wasn't there a rematch?
first and only.
First and
one and
only,
only.
when he choked him out. Yeah, because I mean, it's just proof again. If you're good on the ground, you can beat
All
most
the
standard
champs
people.
right
If you
now
can,
are wrestlers.
if you can get someone, if you're a good wrestler and you can get someone on the ground, you're gonna win that
I
fight.
mean, Nate Diaz also won Conor McGregor.
It was
Yeah,
Nate
that's the one you're
Diaz. That's the
thinking
one I
of,
was
was that,
thinking of.
yeah.
Yeah, that was
They
the 2
had
fights.
2 fights, yeah.
That was cool. I mean, that was I don't remember a lot from that fight, but that wasn't. I mean, Nate isn't really
I
a
remember
wrestler,
it.
is he?
He's a high level.
He's a jiu-jitsu, yeah.
Oh,
BJJ
is it?
practitioner,
Yeah.
yeah.
I mean, they all are. I
Him and his
suppose.
brother are both like
Yeah.
very
But-
very big in jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
But he, even standing up, he was doing well against
Yeah.
Conor, you know. But he's the type of guy that he doesn't care getting like messed up.
But that's
you
the thing as well.
Just
Connor's-
He's like a dirty boxer.
Connor
He's
is
like-
very into like movements and all that, and then he was more just about like
Yeah,
winning the
just
fight. You know?
throwing,
He's
yeah.
he's a very aggressive guy as
Yeah.
well. Yeah, so it was an interesting fight actually.
Do you think there's going to be a rematch for Khabib or Khabib? And Conor?
Khabib.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's I don't know.
don't
I'm
think
not
so.
even sure if Conor McGregor is going to return really. I mean,
I
it's-
think Connor said after that fight that the only way he's coming back is if he gets shares, if they put him on the board or something. Of the
That
UFC.
guy's making more money than ever with his new whiskey. and-
Dude, but he
Whiskey and he's got
I
clothes
think
and he's got
he
all
feels
kinds of stuff.
entitled to the UFC.
Definitely,
He
he feels like he feels his poster boy position is feeling threatened. I think because there's a lot of guys stepping up. Adesanya,
at that
new
stage
guy.
it wasn't like that, but now it is.
Yeah. So there's this new guy, Sean O'Malley. He's also
yeah, yeah.
stepping up as a poster boy of sorts, you know. So I think he feels threatened in that way. But apparently he's training again. Conor now, but they apparently he's back in the gym and he's like
Yeah.
training. So he's looking for his next fight.
I'm looking forward to GSP coming back. GSP is also coming back, so that might,
he?
yeah. Against, I can't remember against who now. but
GSP
it's,
is probably the most intense.
I think
stand-up
Khabib.
guy I've ever
He's
seen.
actually Khabib.
He's probably my favorite.
He's a
all-round
very
fighter
scary guy.
all the time. He's really good.
And
yeah,
he's
he's like
like-
he's a legend.
This is like a Steve Aoki as well.
Yeah, he's really well built,
Scary.
and he's just always in control. Like
Yeah.
when you see him,
Yeah.
he's just like the way he stands is like, yeah, he wants his opponent to be.
But he
there
trained in
right now, like-
all kinds of aspects of all kinds of styles in martial arts almost. I mean, he trained wrestling, jiu-jitsu, kickboxing, all those styles, and obviously more intense and more in detail in some of those forms as well. So I mean, he really puts in the work, and still in shape. I mean, I would really want to be in shape in that age.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that is
for
crazy.
How old is he now? Do you know?
Not sure, but he must be a
40 something maybe.
45 odd. Yeah. Well, I'm close to that, so.
And I know Khabib really wants to fight GSP.
Yeah, I know,
Because
he's
that,
always-
that was like his,
Yeah, I
his
think
dad's
that is the
wish as
fight.
well, and his father passed away recently,
Yeah.
so he really wants that to happen.
Conor didn't fight GSP, did he? Because I remember Joe Rogan wanted him to fight GSP because he was like, if there's someone who can put Conor on the ground, it's going to be GSP.
Yeah,
Yeah, for sure.
Because I think GSP is welterweight. Conor
Yeah.
is actually lightweight, but he has done welterweight fights, so it's possible. But I agree. Yeah, I feel GSP would be able to put Conor down.
Yeah.
So, regarding martial arts, I think if I can go back, just
Yeah.
visit that again in the
Definitely.
sense of the entrepreneurship. It was great talking about UFC.
yeah.
It was a lot of fun,
bit of a
getting your
sideline there.
perspectives as well. But I think two of the things that my trainer actually, especially in jiu-jitsu, tell me a lot is fast is slow and slow is fast. And it reflects when he tells me that. Obviously, for jiu-jitsu, it's got a meaning, but as an entrepreneur as well, we talked about the hustle and everything.
Yeah.
But one of the things I generally do once a quarter is to go take a week away with the family. And even if it's just at home, but trying every quarter take a week with the family, going somewhere. And we like places like nature, not really like cities and stuff. So we like naturey kind of places. But that's a time that you actually, my wife always get back with new ideas, something new she want to start or expand in a business. I always get in ideas and solutions and everything to potential problems.
It's funny. I just got back from Clarence in the Free State,
I saw,
which is
jealous.
this very small little. I don't know if you've been to Clarence, but
I've
it's
seen
beautiful.
pictures of that beautiful clay mountains.
Yeah,
And,
It's easily one of the most beautiful parts of the Free State, if not South Africa as a whole. And it's really just, it's amazing just because I was there and I did work, but it was a little bit here and there. And for the most part, I was just there to chill. And the amounts of things that I actually got to process in that time and got to think about and get new ideas about, it's amazing. Because you have this idea of, I'm going to go on vacation, so I'm going to shut off, and we kind of look, we don't want to do that because you don't want to get out of the groove and whatnot. But it's such a good way to actually get yourself back into the groove.
Exactly.
Because you get burnt out eventually, like you said, like you can't just go work the whole year round. You need some time every now and then just to kind of reset and to spend some time in nature and get a new perspective on everything. And,
For me, being a drummer, stepping away from the drum kit for like weeks at a time, sometimes is so beneficial, because playing drums is a very motor skill type thing. Like most instruments, after doing it for a number of years, eventually it just kind of starts happening. You sit down and you play a beat and you play stuff that's kind of easy to you in a way, because you get used to it. It's like imprinted in your brain almost. And it's very easy, especially like working with a lot of bands and different musicians and catering in terms of the drums that they want, catering towards what they want for the song. It's really easy to just kind of fall into this monotonous loop of kind of doing the same thing for all the projects that I'm involved with. Luckily, I play a very diverse range of genres, so it doesn't easily happen. But stepping away from the drum kits for even just a week is always so beneficial, because I get back to it and I just have new ideas and I'm just more creative, and I'll try certain things in a different order, or like leading with a different hand or whatever, which I usually wouldn't do. Usually I would just sit down and I would do my thing because it's like my daily thing or whatever. But just stepping away from something, it's almost like it's like the term stepping back and just kind of checking everything out from the outside in. You gain perspective and you kind of just refresh your brain in a way, And every time I've done that, I go back and I just feel so refreshed, and it's really cool. And honestly, I would rather, let's say, work for a few months at a time, then take a 2-week break and then continue work, then just grinding all the way through. It's so much more productive and beneficial.
Yeah, like what you said with the slow is fast and fast is slow.
Exactly.
And I think it comes back to what you said about the 2% for 100 businesses, which you shouldn't do. You should rather do 100% on 2 businesses.
Yes.
Because otherwise you're just going to do a lot of work for a lot of companies, but it's going to equal to a little bit of work on each one of them, and none of them are actually growing. Whereas if you have 2 companies or 2 projects or whatever, and you're putting 100% into both of them, you can make sure that both of those things actually do really well.
Yes.
And grow. And it might feel longer because you're working on one thing for a long time, but it's actually it's going to be a shorter time until it gets to that blue belt phase.
Yeah, I think again, I think if you move away, like I mentioned, you get new perspective. And you will never get perspective while doing the same thing every day, because now you visiting Clarence and you just see people operate in a different way. And all of a sudden it clicks something like maybe that's just open up new things. Definitely. And also going away, don't have your cell phone with you, or at least a contactable cell phone with you. Don't have the technology, and really just switch off. Your prefrontal cortex actually slows down, which is your reasoning mechanism, your reasoning brain, and then you start thinking not with your head, because we start to try to reason everything with our head. We actually need to reason everything with this. And whatever feels right here is what we need to do. We've got a second brain right in our gut. And
that's interesting, because sometimes you will think you do, this is what I need to do the right thing, but you still have that feeling about this is probably, this isn't really what I want to do, but you think this is, this is what people would do. This is what people would advise me to do.
I'm supposed to do this.
And that never really works out well.
So I think he's got another saying that I try to actually remember now. My recent post on Instagram, I think it was yesterday, but offense is your best defense. So, especially in this market, I've seen I work with a lot of entrepreneurs, small business owners, so it's kind of one director, 10 kind of employees kind of scene. That's my aim for having clients, monthly accounting clients as well. So we work with obviously the accounting part, but I also try to work more intensively with the clients and to help them grow as well. as person, as a business, and the two are so interlinked with each other. You won't grow your business bigger than yourself.
Exactly.
So now I lost my thought.
Defense,
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So on the offenses, best defenses in COVID. I mean, a lot of entrepreneurs actually pulled back. They got digitally funds, got some TIRS, UIF, all these kind of. We assisted all the clients with all these kind of various funds, and they got the funds, or they were waiting for the funds to come, and they were sitting back and waiting for better days to come, waiting for COVID lockdown to finish, that we can go on with our normal life.
You're just treating the symptoms while you're waiting for
it's
the
like
disease to just pass.
Exactly. So you're not treating the actual disease.
Exactly. Yeah.
So disease, pandemic.
Yeah, it's a bit touchy.
cut that out if you want to. But yeah. So I mean, the entrepreneurs that actually climb in during this time as lockdown came and start adding value, which is offense to defense.
Exactly.
Just you can see the phenomenal growth in them.
Instead of just taking the government bailout and paying your employees with that, like actually focusing on new ways to make money, because you don't know when the pandemic is going to just blow over.
Yes.
It might be another few years,
and
works,
who knows?
but
Maybe
it
this
might,
is the pretense to a much worse one in like 2 or 3 years' time.
Yeah.
We don't know. So
I'm not going to go there, but it seems like the trend would be every year closer to us, and keep that going. That will suffer the small business owners. I mean, and if you look at this is who suffered: the small business owners, and then they couldn't afford to support the employees, in return their families. Yeah. So, and I mean, it's a major crisis. But if you start blaming the COVID-19, if you start blaming the government, that a lot of people do, the president, whoever you want to blame, you give all your power away to somebody else.
Yeah. Exactly.
But if you start blaming and take ownership, then you can start growing something. But you can't grow if you start blaming.
What can I do to fix this instead of what should someone else be doing to fix it?
So, if you take ownership of that problem, you take the power back, and you start creating your own economy.
Yeah.
If you're waiting for somebody that put the economy right there where it is to bring it out again, I mean, it's insane to think like that.
Yeah.
So, I don't watch. Our family don't watch news for the last probably 10 years, even more right now. I don't watch any television or anything, but especially news. I mean, here and there I get some headlines from people. What's going on, but I'm too focused on creating a difference for entrepreneurs in Africa than to worry about what Jacob Zuma or Malema or whoever you want to mention. I mean, it doesn't matter. I'm not into politics, so I don't care who is who. You are the creator of your own destiny, together with everything that you surround yourself with, and it can only improve from there if you do the right things regarding your mind, your health, your body, and your soul.
Yeah, and that's a good mindset to have when you don't just look at the universe is against me and everybody's trying to get me to fail and all that, but rather just focus on how can I with the situation that I'm in, how can I still achieve my goals, or how can I achieve anything instead of just sitting pushing against everything and everything is wrong and everybody's fighting me and nothing's going right.
That's the easy thing.
Exactly, that's the easy thing to do. It's easy to just do nothing and complain that nothing is happening.
I like the examples of restaurants because it's maybe touchy because a lot of restaurants struggle during those time or even closed down. But I like the example of Satori in Kalk Bay. Almost every evening after jiu-jitsu, we go from Tukai. We go to Kalk Bay and we visit that little pizza, pasta restaurant, Satori. Even before lockdown, have you been to Kalk Bay? I mean, there's one road and there's restaurants all over.
Yeah.
There's one little restaurant on this side. It's fully booked. People have blankets and still waiting for tables, and then the rest are all empty. And it's not a coincidence. It's not because people just like pizza. We come there I mean, it's obviously next to the road, so we turn into the road to park. The hostess actually notice us, come to us, come fetch us with a warm welcome. We came there once about 2 weeks ago, and it was still 3 weeks ago. It was still a lockdown, phasing out phase, and the restaurants had to close quickly because of curfew and everything. And we went to the waiter that came to us, and he told us, but I mean, we can't really help you now because the kitchen might be closed, but let me here. And the hostess came running from behind, and there's wait, there's regulars, don't worry about it. We will get them food, even if it's just 5 minutes. We will make sure they get them food. They come from far, they know exactly what we're doing. And all the waiters, they're running like there's no one person working on a table. They're all working together to have the service like this. You order something, and in a question of seconds, you get your drinks. In a question of like 10 minutes, you have your food ready for you.
Every time I eat that spur, I have whatever I have, like a milkshake or a beer or whatever I feel like having. And then when I get my food, I always order a glass of water, just to wash it down. And it always takes like at least 20 minutes just to bring the water to me.
See, the first problem you're making is going to Spur.
Yes. I didn't want to say it, but
service-wise,
I have kids, so I have to go. But
it's more true.
Daar's niks so lekker soos 'n Spurburger nie, but ja.
I hear you. Another very good example I like to use, one of my clients, they go to Cattle Baron Paul frequently. Obviously frequently. So one evening they got there, and they got steak knives with their names put onto their steak knives, actually.
That's very cool.
So now obviously they've got their personalized kind of steak knives every time they go to Cattle Baron.
Do they keep it there for them, or do they take it with every time?
I don't know, but I just know they...
That's pretty cool.
And I think in any business these days, Seth Godin talks about purple cow. If you ever read that book. But a purple cow is about, I drive on a farming environment, and I see a lot of cows. And it's beautiful in the beginning because nice animals, I see farm animals, and then after a few kilometers, it's just another cow. Right? But all of a sudden, there's a purple cow. Right? And I see the purple cow. So I think that is the difference in any business, is what makes you special and what makes you different. And special isn't arrogant. Special is Driekus, Jasper, Dolf. We are all unique and authentic. And once we accept that we are authentic and that makes us special, let's just explore our best version of us, what shine from us, and let's focus on that.
And special, unique doesn't always mean, it's the only, you don't have to be the only accounting firm to be a special accounting firm. You just need to do it better than everyone else. It's not always about...
better, but different as well.
That's, I guess in a way, it's like, you put your personal touch on it. It's you have your own way of doing it, and that's why your clients choose to come back to you and not to someone else. And it's the same in literally everything. You don't have to be the most unique person in the world. It's not always about being different. It's just about doing the things that you do well and with good intention.
And with dignity. Just like, do it.
The thing is, God doesn't create extras. So He created you especially unique. So why do you want to be the same as everybody else?
Exactly.
If He created you unique. So use that uniqueness. Nobody can do a podcast like Driekus. Nobody can play drums like Dolf. I'm an accountant, but nobody else can be the same accountant than me.
Exactly.
And I can only be that good accountant if I want to play by the rules. But then I need to find things that separate me from other accountants in the way I'm doing things, in the sense of the touch that they have with us, the service delivery,
deal with your clients and all that.
And all kinds of things adding to that. How do I add extra value to my clients? That's entrepreneurs. Do I lift them up? That's my thing, is I try to uplift my clients and give them information to grow their business and be there for them as well in growing them. I've got a lot of other things around the accounting to help them. And somebody else can come and look at what I do and say, I want to do that and do that and do that, but it doesn't make them them.
Doesn't come from the same place.
It doesn't come from the same place, same heart. So do what you need to do, but makes you unique and grow that.
Yeah. But we'll keep watching your story. We'll keep following you on Instagram and so on, and then maybe we'll have you on the podcast again soon.
Awesome.
If you have some announcements or anything, or just have some new inspirations to come share with us, or started doing a new martial art or whatever, we'd love to have you back on. It's been very nice having you here.
Thank you
so much for coming out.
Thank you.
Really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Save yourself.